Welcome back. I just finished watching Re:Zero Season 2. Alright, so I just want to, share my opinions. Re:Zero is an anime about Subaru. Subaru is from, our world. But Subaru is transferred into another world. It's an isekai anime, right? So the main character gets transferred into another world. He only has one really unique ability, which is the fact that when he dies, he will automatically get revived at a checkpoint that is randomly created, or it's created at a important story point. So it's very similar to a video game. No, that's the only ability he gets. Everything else he has to he basically needs to solve the puzzle of figuring out how to live in this world and survive and achieve his goals. Now, if you've watched the first season, you would know that he really wants to protect all of his friends, right? I'm trying to keep this as low on the spoilers as possible because this is an anime that I think you should watch. If you're really into like a good story, watch it. If you like character development, this is good too. But quite a few of the characters kind of feel very similar. A lot of the villains feel like similar and cookie cutter. In the first season, they seemed very interesting just because everything was fresh and new. But second season feels a bit more lackluster to me. Not that it's bad. It's not a bad anime. It's just it has weaknesses. Like one glaring weakness for me was how slow it was, or how slow it is. Like the first season was pretty slow. The second season is just as slow. I'm trying to share information regarding what I think about the series without sharing any spoilers. This season was very interesting, not because of Subaru or any of the other female characters, because God, yo, anime fans really love like their cute female characters, and like you have a lot of them in this, right? You have a whole heap, so you can take your pick of your wife or whatever. But I was very interested in the character Garfield because he seemed like the power check for Subaru, but not necessarily a power check. It's more of an intellect check, right? So with Subaru's ability to die and revive back at the previous point, he's trying to protect his friends as best as he can to ensure that they don't die, because his life to him is not as important as theirs. Because if these individuals die permanent, but with him, he will always be able to revive at a certain point. So he has the opportunity to protect those close to him. And it's very selfless. I really respect that about this guy. He's selfless and determined. Like in this anime, he dies gruesome deaths and it's shown to you. It's pretty gory, right? That's the big allure with this anime. The gore, that's the big thing that set it apart from most of the animes when it first aired. And it still is pretty gory. For me, like after the first few deaths, I get used to it, so I'm looking for something more, and that's where I wanted more of a faster pace in the story. I didn't really get that this season, but it was still very interesting to get more reveals. But also at the same time, even though information is revealed to you, it brings up more questions at the end. I'm not going to share any of that because I don't want to spoil. As I say, I don't want to spoil it. I really think this is an anime you watch and figure out for yourself. The character that was really interesting to me, as I was alluding to before, was Garfield. So as I said, he's like an intellect check for Subaru, right? Because he is displayed in different ways depending on how Subaru interacts with him or what Subaru does. That's one of the interesting points of the story. Subaru can revive, but depending on what he does, it actually impacts how everybody treats him and what happens in the world. So he's very careful not to make the wrong choices. But at this point, he seems to be more liberal with his death and revivals, because so he can use whatever information that he's amassed in this one death cycle in another cycle of his life living in an alternate reality. So Subaru seems to be able to figure out solutions for what he needs to do, and he does. He consistently figures out what needs to be done. Granted, this is not no genius kid, right? He's not like Lelouch or anybody like that. He seems to be like an average character. And speaking of average, like the animation of the series was pretty average. It's not nothing like gorgeous. It's not like Mappa or like One Punch Man in terms of the animations. Not like that. It's very like cookie cutter isekai anime. I would say slightly above average isekai, because isekais are pretty bad, but it's alright to look at. As I said, I would really like it if this anime would pick up speed and speed in terms of the storytelling, right? But I don't see that happening because I was doing some research on the light novels. So apparently the light novels haven't completed; they're still being written. So That's the problem here. When you have a story that's being animated but it's not done, it's gonna take longer. They have to like stretch the story. They have to stretch the seasons a bit more to try and keep up with the writing of the author. So I don't think this anime is gonna pick up speed anytime soon. I'm very interested to see how it ends though. Like I want to see how this series ends, because it's a very interesting way to tell a story, and the slowness makes sense. He's continuously dying and replaying parts of the story or parts of his life, so it makes sense that it's gonna be slow, right? It's more of a preference that I'm annoyed with it, but there's nothing wrong with it being slow. This is like the best anime for this season in terms of story. I would say also overall it's the best anime. I don't think any. I'm trying to remember like if there's an anime that even comes close to Re:Zero, but I don't think any really does. The comedies haven't been really good. The romance has always been romance trash, so whatever. Action, I think like God of High School. Yeah, that's the only action anime out now, but it's not good. It's not great. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright, but this is the creme de la creme for this season. So if you want to watch an anime with a good story, Re:Zero. Animation not going to wow you. I'm trying so hard not to spoil a lot, but the plot points and the way the story is told, that's the key here. That's what's so really nice about it. So yeah, go ahead and give this a watch. Try and go in with a clear mind. This is just a generic sit down after watching the series and me telling you, go watch it. It's nice. It's actually entertaining. But keep in mind, it's very slow. Alright, thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm out.